Shalom, giving all praises and all glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Makakwadash, double honors unto the elders and apostles of Great Millstone at Rule Well, and Shalom to all of the Archeum teaching this word around the globe with faith and truth and sincerity. I'm the brother Caleb from GMS London Forecasters Camp, coming back with another lesson to edify the Lord's elect. First and foremost, Shalom to the 144,000 elect men of the nation of Israel, and to the rest of the elect destined to be saved. We are the real Hebrew Israelites, and the real Israelites, these so-called Negroes, Latinos, Hispanics, Native Americans, West Indians, and West Africans predominantly. However, you will find Israelites that do look like the other nations, because we have been scattered among all nations through our various captivities. But if your seed line by your forefathers goes back to the man in the Bible that was named Israel, then you too are an Israelite, no matter what you may look like, because Numbers 1 and 18 tells you that your nationality is determined by the lineage of your forefathers. So I was reading this article, I believe yesterday. It's from Sky News. It says, Michaela Jolie, mother 21, will die in prison after slamming baby girl on concrete and killing her. The district attorney has initially sought the death penalty in the case, but instead offered Jolie a plea deal. Now that's off, because if this mother here, you see a picture on the screen, if she indeed did intentionally smite her child so that the child died, that would technically be classed as murder according to the law of the Bible, so she should indeed be put to death. But in Esau's kingdom, they do everything arse backwards, so true judgment isn't something that you're going to find in Esau's society. But nevertheless, we'll read this article. It says the district attorney had initially sought the death penalty in the case, but instead offered Jolie a plea deal. One reason was to prevent witnesses, family, and authorities from having to relive what happened, it was reported. Now that's a bullshit excuse, because really, there's no people shouldn't be offset or off put from seeking true judgment, because true judgment is what prevents wickedness from happening in the future. See, when you don't punish crimes accordingly, there's no deterrent. So these things will keep happening. But Esau wants that, because Esau's all about chaos, and through chaos, he believes he will be able to keep his rule. They have this saying, order ab chaos. So Esau creates chaos on every front. Who is Esau? Esau are the predominantly so-called white people on the face of the earth, who we are in their kingdom at this point in time. Micah chapter 2 verse 10 says this. Speaking to us Israelites, who once again are you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Hispanics, Native Americans, and West Africans predominantly, and their descendants, but obviously you are going to get Israelites who do look like the other nations. These scriptures are for us, right? It says, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you even with a sore destruction. So the society that we're in is very polluted. And what causes the pollution? The lack of judgment for crimes such as this. So we'll read on. A mother who admittedly repeatedly slammed her baby girl onto concrete has been sentenced to life in prison for her murder without the chance of parole. Michaela Jolie, 21, from Mississippi, took her 2-month-old daughter, Kaylee, by the ankles and slammed her into the pavement multiple times and then left her. Assistant District Attorney Catherine Newman was quoted as saying by NBC News affiliate WLBT, the incident in the city of Pearl took place on the 12th of May 2022, with witnesses telling the police that the child was left lying in the road. See, that's cruel and that's cold, man. But at the same time, as much as I say it's cruel and cold, that was judgment from the Most High upon that baby, because on a simple level, on a carnal level, it's easy to get emotionally triggered by events like this, because in the carnal minded perspective, the belief is that all children are born innocent, which simply is not the case according to the scriptures. Trying to think of a precept. Is it Psalms 58 and 3? Let me check that. Psalms 58 and 3. I believe it is. Yeah, here we go. Psalms 58 verse 3 says that the wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. So who are the wicked? The wicked there's three classifications of people. You've got the sons of God, which are the Israelites. You've got the sons of men, which are the children of the other 16 nations. And then you've got the final nations, which are the Edomites, who are known as the wicked. And the scripture clearly says in Psalms 58 and verse 3 that the wicked are estranged from the womb, meaning that as soon as they're conceived in the womb, they're alien, strangers to the law of the Most High and cannot be subject to it. You know, that's the lot of the wicked. You see, when the wicked is in the spiritual realm, they're at rest and they're in order. But when they're born upon the earth, they are completely adverse to the scriptures and the law of the Most High. Now, if this woman is indeed an Edomite, she looks like she may be, but it's hard to tell, because she could be a Jake under the curses, because one of the curses upon our people is that a mother's not going to have no pity upon her children. I'm going to get that in a moment. But let's say that she's an Edomite. Well, the wicked are estranged from the womb. So the death that baby child suffered, which was cruel, you know, taken by the ankles and slammed repeatedly into the concrete, that may have been judgment for the wickedness that child had done in its previous life, because in its previous life that child may have done something similar to in its previous life that child may have done some wickedness when it was at maturity, full age, to its own child, and the Most High has brought judgment upon it for what it did to its child by having it be brutally murdered by its own mother. See, the Most High is not unjust. Everything's a perfect balance with the Most High, and it's hard for us to relate to it because we're in the flesh, and our perspective isn't the perspective of the Most High. The scriptures say of the Most High that his thoughts are not our thoughts, and his ways are above our ways, but his ways ultimately are perfect. So as sad as it may be, as tragic as it may be to us in the flesh, we've got to just roll with it. We've got to accept the fact that whatever the Most High did in this situation, it was true judgment. So reading on, it says, the incident in Pearl took place on the 12th of May 2022, with witnesses telling the police that the child was left lying in the road. Jolie then ran into the nearby woods where she was arrested. Kaylee was taken to the hospital but died from her injuries 2 days later. She suffered brain swelling and bleeding, extensive skull fractures, fractures to her left thumb and right, abrasions and hemorrhages to her eyes. Her death was ruled a homicide due to the blunt force injuries to her head. A mental evaluation had found her competent to stand trial. On Monday, Jolie pleaded guilty to capital murder, a crime that only has two possible outcomes: the death penalty and life in prison without the possibility of parole. And only one of those judgments would have been just, which would have been the death penalty. Madison Rankin District Attorney Booba Bramlett had initially sought a death penalty, but instead offered Jolie a plea deal. One reason was to prevent witnesses' family and authorities from having to relive what happened, WLBT reported. Mr. Bramlett said, "Those men and women will be forever affected by what they saw on the 12th of May 2022. Jolie allegedly confessed to police that she had hurt the baby but said she was in an accident and she didn't know why she did it. Authorities said that she had used drugs on the morning of the incident, WLBT reported. See, she didn't know why she did it because the Most High put a spirit of vengeance upon her. So she acted out according to what the Most High had ordered the spirit of vengeance to do. So when the spirit of vengeance had finally accomplished its task successfully, it probably departed from the mother, and the mother was left there wondering what the hell just happened. Mr. Bramlett said it was an unexplainable and heinous crime against an innocent child. Again, I've just showed you that the child wasn't indeed innocent, and another scripture to prove that the child was not innocent is Job chapter 4 verse 7, which says, and I know this may sound, what I'm saying may sound alien to the mindset of the majority of people in the world, but it's a very different mindset when you come into the truth as opposed to a predominantly emotional mindset about life and events, which is what people have in the world. A lot of people go off just their feelings and their emotions with no substance to it. But the reality of the matter is that there's order and there's justice with the Most High. And, you know, we need to get more into that mindset. Otherwise, you're just going to be always wondering, why, God, why? Why did you kill my child? Or why did this have to happen or that have to happen? And you know, you're always going to be in your emotions. So it's better to come to the knowledge of the wisdom of the Most High. That way you'll have some peace and some stability of mind. The scriptures say that knowledge and wisdom should be the stability of thy times and strength of salvation. So, you know, it's much more expedient and healthy to have a biblical mindset, because then you're not going to be so bugged out. You're not going to be so, you know, up and down like a yo-yo with your feelings and stuff. You'll be more stable. Job 4 verse 7 says this, remember I pray thee, who ever perished being innocent, or where were the righteous cut off? See, that doesn't just apply to adults, it applies to children too. You know, whoever perished being innocent. So that child that died was not an innocent child, which is a common misconception of the mindset of the people of this world. Reading on, it says, Mr. Bramlett said it was an unexplainable, no, it wasn't unexplainable because I'm explaining it here, an heinous crime. Indeed, it was heinous, but it was also judgment against an innocent child. And I've already broken down that nobody's innocent, not even little babies. So we need to get out of our emotions and stop this nonsense about, oh, well, yeah, that was just an innocent baby. Now, I'm not condoning the act because obviously it's murder's murder, but at the end of the day, the Most High has a reason for why he causes certain things to occur. He added, Michaela Jolie will die in prison where she belongs for committing these crimes against her daughter. And I'll get that in the curses. Let me get that in the curses now. If she's indeed an Israelite, I don't know. She could be an Edomite, she could be an Israelite, I don't know. But if she's an Israelite, Deuteronomy 28 goes into it about what? 45 maybe? Let's see. Here we go. Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 54 says, let me start from verse 53. And thou shalt, this is really talking about 70 AD, but I'm going to read it from here, right? The siege of Jerusalem, 67 to 71 AD, I believe that time was. And thou shalt eat the fruit of thine own body, meaning your children, and the flesh of thy sons and of thy daughters, which Yahweh thy God hath given thee in the siege, and in the straitness wherewith thine enemies shall distress thee. As I said, this scripture is mainly pertaining to the siege of Jerusalem, which was about 67 to 71 AD by the Romans. Verse 54, so that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eye shall be evil towards his brother, and towards the wife of his bosom, and towards the remnant of his children which he shall leave, so that he will not give any of them the flesh of his children whom he shall eat, because he had nothing left him in the siege, and in the straitness, meaning difficulty, wherewith thine enemy shall distress thee at all thy gates. Here it goes on to say, and a tender and delicate woman among you, which would not adventure to set the sole of her foot upon the ground for delicateness and for tenderness. Here it is, her eye shall be evil towards her husband of her bosom, and towards her son and her daughter, and towards the young one that cometh out from between her feet, and towards her children which she shall bear, for she shall eat them for the want of all things secretly, in the siege and straitness, wherewith thine enemy shall distress thee in thy gates. Now, as I said, that scripture is really a prophecy pertaining to 70 AD, but it also applies to the mindset and mentality of Jake on the whole. You know, Jake is pretty evil towards your own people. You know, as it said, the scriptures say, a man's eye shall be evil towards his brother. That's a common case in Jake families. And also another common case is forms of child abuse, unfortunately, within Jake households. And there's many forms of child abuse, you know. You can have direct physical abuse. You can have an emotional abuse. Even neglect is a form of abuse. There's one story that came out a few years ago about one Jake girl who had a baby. And I think she left the baby for something like a week alone in the house while she went to celebrate her birthday party. And she came back and found the child dead and tried to lie and say, oh, the child was just sick. But it got found out that she abandoned the child alone for however many days while she went off celebrating her bullshit, birthday party, and basically left the child to starve and die by itself. So Jake's pretty cruel out here, man. And it goes back to the curses. Now, it could be the case that this woman was a white-looking Jake. Or it could be the case that she was a straight-up Edomite. But I don't know. I can't say. All I can say is that this indeed was judgment from the Most High upon that child for whatever reason. And at the end of the day, as hard as it may seem, we've got to be on the side of the Lord, because the Lord's judgment is always perfect. And in order to be on the side of the Lord, you have to put away your feelings and get rid of programs, so to speak. It's a very interesting case. It says, he added, Michaela Jolie will die in prison where she belongs for committing these crimes against her daughter. He told the news station that she would never get out of prison under any circumstance. So that's off judgment, leaving her to rot in prison. Really, if she did indeed commit a crime, it should be life for life. She should be put to death. But you can't expect judgment on justice from a man that wasn't made to be upright and to execute judgment on justice, which is the so-called white man, which is why his society is so corrupt, and which is why we need deliverance from this place, because as Israelites, and Lord being of the elect, we seek a world and a kingdom wherein dwelleth righteousness. This is a kingdom and a world wherein dwelleth wickedness. Therefore the wicked do prosper in this world. But that's not to say that they're going to prosper in the long term. While they seem to be in good case at the moment, they're not going to be in good case when Yahushua returns to destroy this place. So Lord willing, that was just a little edifying, quick little lesson. As I said, I don't know if this woman's a white-looking Jake or a straight-up Edomite. But either way, this case was judgment from the Most High. So with that, giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bah Hashem Yahushai, Bah Hashem Rakakwadash, double honors unto the elders and apostles of great Millstone that rule well. Shalom once again to the 144,000 elect men of the nation of Israel, and to the rest of the elect destined to be saved. And I'll catch you on the next lesson, Lord willing. Shalom for now. Yeah, shalom.